Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for August 2020 for Gemini. Apologies on getting things out a little bit late. Life gets busy, but nonetheless, this is for August 2020. It's actually August 7th today, so it'll be from August 7th through to the end of August again for Gemini. So if you're new to my channel, I'll give you a quick rundown of how I've laid the cards out. I will bring them forward and let you know what decks they are as I go through the reading. But as far as the actual reading itself, the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm sorry, I don't know who the originator of that deck is, but I really like this deck. It's one of my favorites. But the cards are have some kind of a shiny foil on there, but nonetheless, Rider-Waite deck is central to the reading for career and finance. Everything else on the periphery relates to general readings. I do have some cards that are pulled off to the side, and those I will bring forward as I go through them. So again, those are general energies. Everything in the center here, that's Rider-Waite deck. I do have some that are below here as well, but again, I'll pull this forward. And this is a general reading, so I should quickly mention not everything is going to resonate for all Geminis. Certainly, if it does have some relevance to you, take from it what holds true. And if there is anything in relation to relationships, I don't necessarily do a relationship read with this. It's just general energies. For sure, a lot of the relationships that we have are in business and overlap with finance and all of that as well, and business partnerships as well as intimate partnerships. So that may come through in the reading, but I don't give it a lot of detail. So I just wanted to let you know, if you are looking for that kind of a reading, better suited for other readers that are able to provide more detail. But again, I will touch on some of those energies as we go through. Okay, so for those that are returning to my channel, thank you so much for supporting my channel. I know my readings are very long, and certainly I do like to try to give as much detail as possible. I love the tarot decks themselves, and so I do try to use as many as possible, because I do feel that the cards really do have very different meanings from deck to deck. So, and it keeps me from, I just need the diversity in the readings as well. So just to keep it interesting for me also. So I'll bring through a couple of new ones that I'm implementing into the readings. I should quickly mention, I'm going to start doing some unboxing of the decks that I do have, some of the newer ones, and I did put out one for the Hermetic deck, and I also have a couple of other ones here that I'll bring forward. There's the Jungian Tarot by Robert Wang, which I'm also using, and that would be this one here. So I've just pulled a few cards of the deck itself, and that's what it looks like on the back. So again, when I go to do the unboxing and give you a little more detail on this channel, but in other videos, I'll give you more specifics as to the cards themselves, the books, as well as card stock, all of that stuff. I am also using another deck here too, just because it's a really monster large card, which I thought would be great for anybody who has any difficulty seeing, seeing the cards themselves, or using, the writing is still fairly small, but nonetheless, it's a really large deck, but I think it's kind of a fun deck sometimes to use. So anyway, I'm going to throw that one in here now and then, and that's just the, that is a tarot deck by, sorry, just checking to see who that one was by, because that's a new deck for me. Well, I've actually had it for a while, I just haven't brought it out, but it's written, the book is written by Bridget Reed, and the tarot card illustrations are by Colin Howard. Okay, so I'll just get right to it. So the first cards that I'm going to get into, well, actually I'll give you a synopsis first of the reading itself. I didn't feel like there was a lot in terms of extreme changes to the financial front for August of 2020 for you, Gemini. I did feel that there would be more focus on you mentally. I feel that there's a lot of ambition, a lot of energy behind that ambition that's also coming through for you. I feel there's a strong need for you to want to get something done. You're really inspired you've got some kind of passion project that's creative that you're really working on, that really has perhaps a lot of weight on it, that maybe to pull you out of some kind of a financial thing, or to move you ahead into, something that makes you feel that you're putting something out into the world that you're proud of, anything along that line. But regardless, I did feel that this was more of a creative situation with a lot of, I don't know if this is negative energy that you're putting upon yourself, or if this is in relation to a relationship, or maybe both. But there is a lot of harsh criticism, a lot of strong, angry energy that's also coming through with, I would probably say, both spheres, because I think sometimes we have a lot of frustrations that manifest in our surrounding connections, friends, family, that kind of thing. And we're not always aware that we are putting forward that much intensity when we speak. So what I'm going to say for the moment here is there was also some level of, I don't want to say lack of preparation, but that you are needing to spend more time and focus on the planning aspects. So I feel like something is not organized enough. I'm not sure exactly if that's entirely with the creative aspect of your undertaking, or if it's related to the project itself and the contractual obligations, or maybe there's some paperwork or something that hasn't really been reviewed with a lot of a lot of attention. But there's something further that needs to be planned through a little more meticulously that hasn't really been strongly tended to. So I would say that is planning, as well as your strong emotions over, I would say it's probably both realms, your creative project as well as your relationship, because I did get that there was a third party possible relationship here, but definitely some kind of conflict that's coming through, but that there is still hope for that situation. In terms of your education, there is a possibility of a new job or some new education that's coming through here as well. Definitely you are in a bit of a hermit mode, or some kind of introspective period of solitude, where you're probably doing a lot of self-deprecation, is my guess. But I mean, obviously that's not a healthy way to be, so certainly it's important for you to know it's okay to be unique, and it doesn't have to fit everyone's agenda. You're not there to be liked necessarily, depending on what it is that you're wanting out of a situation. I mean, it feels good to be liked, but at the same token, the more important thing is that you're true and authentic to yourself, and that you're able to speak from whatever this creative project is. Use your own authentic voice is what I would say, whether it's writing, whether it's in regards to education courses or something that you're taking, but be authentic, be true to who you are. Don't try to fit someone else's agenda or someone else's mold. You don't always have to come through full thrust with a stamp of individuality. I think it's more important to try to fit in, but in an authentic way. So again, there's no need to broadcast that you're coming into the room. I think it's fair enough to say that having some degree of how do I put that? Having some degree of control or reign over your emotions, because I'm not. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is that if you're being authentic, you won't have this need to barge into a room, to broadcast that you're there, to really make an impact, to tell people what your beliefs are. When you're living true and authentic to yourself, it's more of a flow. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'll get right into the reading here. So I'll start with the general energies surrounding. I did feel as well that there was a very strong degree of ancestral communication coming through. I feel that you are getting inspiration, that a lot of inspiration coming through for the month of August. And as I say, I did feel that there was a lot of ancestral, whether somebody is passed in your family or somebody, friend, or somebody that you were really close to, you're getting some divine guidance that's coming through on that level as well. So, and that may be where the strong inspiration is coming through. So as far as the cards at the back here go, again, I'll try to pull everything forward. They're a little further out here, but okay, so the World card, this is the fortune reading cards, and this is actually a deck by Sharina Starr. So this is illustrations by Richard Crooks. Can't remember if I've mentioned that before in previous readings. But, okay, so as far as the world goes, I mean, again, some of the cards are a little bit different from deck to deck. So, I mean, where the world can represent the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new one, some kind of movement, going forward. It is still representing with this deck that you are at some kind of period of completion. So there is something that's coming through that you're either completing a work of some sort, or you are, and you're about to receive some kind of achievement for it, or again, that you are in a period of completing this work. Whatever this is, I mean, the World card is really a major life cycle. So you're moving on to this next level, meaning that there's probably been a lot of hardships and a lot of conflict and a lot of heavy energy and heartache and all of those things that go with ending of a cycle and moving on in a stronger, wiser, more confident fashion after this. So again, this is really about you being rewarded for all of those past efforts. All the things that were weighing on you in the past are now starting to bear fruit. So in terms of personal relationships, again, because this is general energy, it could represent somebody living across the world from you that you're in communication with. It could be on the internet that you're speaking to people. It could be people just period at a distance. There's some kind of distance here that is represented. It could be in terms of a love or a friendship or family, anything like that. There's still some kind of distant communication, but it's again, it's still a card of representing success. So it's also a time of healing for the month of August here as well. In terms of career and money, I mean, this could speak to gains for sure. I'm just not sure yet because I haven't reviewed all of the cards in perfect detail whether or not those gains are all coming through for August yet. But basically it is letting you know that there is going to be some increases seen with whatever this project is that you're doing. There is still rewards that'll come through. Again, for the most part, most people won't see immediate recognition, immediate big bills coming through. And I don't mean big bills as in actual debt. I mean, huge drop, bundle of money, that kind of thing. It's usually a little more incremental, especially when it's a passion project, something that you're working on. But as you are completing this, there, may be more lump sums that follow through. But it depends. Everybody is going to be a little bit different. Every Gemini is not of the same age. Every Gemini is not of the same motivation. So certainly you have to take that into consideration, that there's going to be some people that are a little further along this journey than others. So some people are already closer to the level of completion, and others may be still in the process of finishing up just the fine touches. Everybody's going to be at a different level here. So again, just to bear that in mind. It is still general reading, but again, the energies are still there that this is about a successful time once this has been completed, this project. So again, August is going to be a little bit of a fluid month for some. It's just a general time frame. Okay, so this again is a card that's letting you know that, you will be getting some kind of rewards that are going to come through. With whatever this creative project is for you. I might just turn this other light off, because I think it might be impeding some of creating more reflection, making it a little more difficult for some of you to see. Okay, so the next card is the Mountain card. Okay, so Mountain. Know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. Okay, so in terms of what this card represents, I mean, fairly clear that there may be some hazards or threats that could, you know, meander through into August. Not really clear on what those will be just yet. But I mean, it can be in terms of relationships. It could be a relationship struggle. It could be quarrels or confrontations or something upsetting in your household. It could also represent some difficulty. But I am getting a feeling that whatever those representations of conflict and struggle and those kinds of things are, I feel that you are in control of that. I feel that your presentation of whatever is upsetting you, I think maybe strongly because I feel that you have so much energy in the month of August and that it's causing a lot of anger, but I don't even know that it's true anger. I think it's almost anger that is based on energy that's not been utilized well. I think that you need to do something physical, maybe riding a bike or something just to get the energy out. Creative projects, if they are more of a sit down situation, again, that energy still can build. So I think you need to find more of a balance here, because there was also some indication that you needed to find a balance between your male and female energies as well. So whether you're a male in the reading or a female in the reading, whatever, aspect that you are representing, your alter yin yang is not being balanced, that it's not you're standing more so in one energy over another, and you need to balance that out. And I think that's why we've got such a strong emotional aggressive quality coming through here. So again, I'm feeling that maybe it's just that you're being more sedentary than you normally would, and I think that you need to just do something with that energy to offset some of the negative conflicts and struggle that you might be enduring for the month of August. So anyway, this could also be an indication that there's some secret information that you become aware of. It can also be that a relationship does end, but again, I think a lot of that is really up to you. I don't feel it's going to be something that throws you off. I don't think it's a big surprise. I mean, the card can indicate that you get some kind of a surprise of some sort, but I think in this particular instance, this is something you have a degree of control over, especially because I pulled some cards toward the end that relate to relationship that had more of a favorable connotation. So again, before we jump the gun on that, just to let you know, I mean, maybe you've got some false friends around, maybe you've got some false family around, or something that's just not being completely upfront here, and you're just a little extra super sensitive in the month of August emotionally. So in terms of career and money, the Mountain card, of course, is just to be careful in who you trust and don't take on any unnecessary risks. Be careful about anything that relates around gossip. All of those things are hidden enemies, hidden elements and hidden enemies in business and in general. But it is somehow affecting your August read, so I would just be mindful of that. Okay, so the next cards after that, I guess we'll read, would be I think I'll get into the new deck that I've mentioned there. Again, these are general energies. So you do have the Devil energy, and this was clarified with the Page of Cups. So the card itself, I mean, the Devil energy can represent a lot of, extreme behaviors. So, I mean, there could be drinking going on here as well with the Devil, with the Page of Cups. It could be somebody who's indulging an awful lot with alcohol. This could be somebody who is of a younger mindset. Doesn't even have to be a young person, but just a youthful mind. But again, when it's the devil energy, it's self-indulgence. It can be extremes in emotion. Anything that relates to greed or self-preservation, anything that's got that animal instinct, temptation, lust, and narrow-mindedness. It can be just anything that relates to overall obsession or heavy ambition. But again, because it's coupled with the Page of Cups, I think in this case it's related to, it could be related to extreme negative thinking in regards to a relationship here with the Page of Cups, or again, excessive drinking, something that is you're overindulging in anyway. So just to be wary of that for the month of August. It's not, and that's why I thought healthy exercise, something just physically getting you out so you're not locked in your mind, because I feel that you are locked in your mind quite a bit for the month of August. You also have the Judgment card. So I think something might be coming to a head or being clarified here with the Judgment card. The Page of Swords, again, it can represent a person or a message that's coming through, but it was clarifying the Judgment. So with the Judgment card, this is a rejuvenation. This is a card symbolizing development and resolution and release. And in some of the other decks, it represents, you being on your, your own calling. You're on your true path. With an ambition, that kind of thing. So with the Page of Swords as the clarifier, I think that there's a really strong indication here that, you are on the right path. Because the Swords does clarify that, you do have a strong mind. You do have a strong, clear vision of where you're going here. And again, some of the decks are a little bit different in their interpretation, but this one is fairly clear. It's pretty much the same as the Rider-Waite deck, etc. But again, I thought they were really unique cards. They're monstrous, but there's something fun about them. And I really love the imagery. I think they're great cards. Sorry, dropping cards. I just need to... Okay, so, I think I'll get to I think I'm going to go through the other cards here too that are related to, we've got Wounded Warrior, and we've also got Masculine. So, again, this is, I'm masculine, feminine, however that comes up for you. If you're a male in this reading, I feel that you may not be balancing out your female aspects, and vice versa. If you're a female in the reading, I don't feel that you're balancing out your male aspects well. So you're just going from one extreme to the other. It's a protective mechanism, to, for a man to be standing really strong and appearing really strong, and not allowing the feminine energy to come through. That is something that I feel you need to be mindful of, because as I said, that it doesn't allow you to embrace something that could be in front of you. You're too busy blocking it. And again, with the female energy, shying away or hiding too much of yourself, that kind of thing, that kind of energy is not healthy for relationships or business. It's not being true or authentic to yourself, whatever your male or female energy is that's coming through in the reading. But again, the card itself, though, the meaning is that somebody who's not really outgoing at this time, maybe not actively expressing themselves, which I feel that you are. I feel that you're in a period of hermit, solitude, that kind of thing, withdrawn. With the masculine energy, this is really about you needing to begin to explore your self-awareness. So again, it's an unbalanced energy that I'm getting through through for this month of August. You're staying too much in one aspect over another. So it's really a time to embrace, that softer side or that more masculine side, whatever it is for you. Because there's some kind of fear that surrounds this card. When you block the things that allow you to grow and expand, you become like a split consciousness, I guess is the best way to put it. And the whole point of tarot is, when you speak of the Fool's Journey, the idea of tarot is not to go from birth to death and live the elements of the cards. I mean, it is in a sense, you're actually living through the doorways of each of the cards at various times, and there's some overlap. But it's also the opportunity to find individuation. It's the chance to become whole. It's the chance to develop your consciousness. And so the whole point of, understanding our male and female aspects is to become whole. So we don't want to ever come off too masculine or too feminine. It's about finding that balance. So, because otherwise, again, you're living in a fear-based mode, and you're not able to expand, and it causes more fear, and then there's layers of anxiety that go over top of that. And it's distortions as well. It's wounds within the self that, continue to separate and fragment you so that you're not able to heal things. So peace and balance come out of you not struggling for power. It's about you allowing yourself to feel both the male and female aspects. In other words, I guess as an example, you might think of it as trying to change your perspective. For example, if you're in an argument with somebody and you're coming off as, well, I don't want to show my weakness, I'm going to stay on my masculine side and wait till they come around. The other side of that, in changing your perspective, to try to feel more, or to try to understand somebody from their female perspective, for example, you might start to feel that somebody's reaction of walking away or in approaching you, give them that time to have their say. And then just be mindful of how you're going to approach it before it maybe happens. If you're somebody who's quite reactive, it might be a better idea just to say, okay, I'll listen to what you have to say, give me some time to think about it, and then I'll come back and we'll go through in small incremental steps a couple of the issues at a time. So again, it's just as an example, but it's just about you trying to invite back in your feminine side. Because as I say, with the masculine, I suspect that whoever you are or whatever group of Geminis I'm speaking to are predominantly in this energy where they feel this need to be strong and not show weakness. But again, you're splitting your own consciousness. And sometimes when I say allowing the feminine side to come through, I'm not saying that you have to necessarily become weak. I'm saying find the strength in the feminine side of yourself. And that would mean aspects of communication or, better listening or trying to draw upon negotiation skills, and that could also be reflected in male. But again, I'm just I do these late at night, so I don't have as many, not as articulate as I might be during the day. But anyway, this is, again, still along the lines of you trying to find some harmony or balance between that. Okay, so moving on to the Wounded Warrior. Okay, so the Wounded Warrior is really just that. I feel there is some kind of relationship issue that's coming through here. And I did sort of speak to a third party energy a little bit. Whether that's true for you or not, it might be just conflict in a relationship and you're feeling wounded. But either way, I feel it's an old energy. I don't feel it's something new, fresh coming through here. So the Wounded Warrior is someone who feels that they're a victim. This is somebody who is, really guarded, holds up that shield. Somebody who feels overpowered, somebody who is feeling defeated, worn down, anything like that. So again, I feel that you're in this place where you're suffering with your own pains and demons, metaphorically, not literal demons. I'm just feeling that you have a feeling of guilt or hurt from the past, that kind of thing. Something that you're still holding up this protective shield anyway, and you're struggling against yourself to heal. So there is the light coming through, though, because there was the star card as well, which is inspiration. You're getting divine inspiration. You also have an ancestral card coming through that's helping to clear some of these old disruptive energies. Because I do feel that you are shifting your consciousness, you're unchaining from some of these places where you are shifting your perspective. I don't know what it is that you're doing entirely. I mean, for each one of you, it's going to be a little bit different. Maybe it's a walk in nature that brings about these epiphanies. Maybe it's something that, your creative project that helps you to focus, and then you get, maybe if you're writing a book, maybe it's even through your characterization that you're actually better able to understand your own current relationship and find a way for the two characters to, work it out, whatever it is. But I'm just grasping at straws here. But this is just the general energy, the cards there. Okay, so next ones would be, I'll go to the Jungian Tarot. Again, I'll do an unboxing of this one at a later time, but this is the cards here. There's actually a separate book that comes with it, as well as that you'd have to buy separately. But the cards themselves here, I felt were representing you and someone else. And then, of course, we also have the Ace of Cups. So the one is the Wands, which I believe is probably your energy. And then the other person, there's a Libra energy that's also coming through here in this reading. So with the Prince of Cups, which is the first one here, this is actually the Libra energy right here. So again, with the Prince of Cups, and again, this is Jungian Tarot, and this one is by Robert Wang. So this represents somebody who's really, and again, there's different, when I speak of people, the characteristics go from one extreme to the other. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be resolute that this person is a strong, romantic, character. It's just that there is a propensity to go from one aspect of romantic nature, somebody who might be just represented as a little softer or more emotional, that kind of thing, to the far extreme where they're a little bit overly concerned about their appearances, that kind of thing. So again, it's sort of a spectrum. But anyway, roughly in a nutshell, the Page of Cups in this deck represents somebody who's emotional and romantic and likes to be the center of attention. Somebody who may be comfortable in a group, but definitely is somebody who's quite attractive and often pursued. So they do give a lot of attention to their appearance. They may not be giving a lot to you at this time, and in some way I feel that might be part of the attraction that you find. But again, for some, not all. But there's also you being, this person is also afraid of being hurt, and that may be why they have their defenses up. But as a Libra energy, for sure, this is someone who generally tends to avoid conflict. You, on the other hand, I feel are represented here as the next card, the second one here, which is the Queen of Wands. So this does represent an Aries energy, or Cancer is also coming through in this reading. But this is really somebody who's quite intelligent and strong-willed. So it is a sensitive person, which means that they may be overly sensitive on one spectrum, and again, could be extremely strong-willed on that spectrum as well, but very ambitious person. So somebody who, also likes to be noticed in the room, somebody who is, and again, I feel this is your energy here, somebody who, is amusing and gregarious, and, also somebody who loves home life, and they're quite protective of their family members or those that they feel are important to them. And they sort of center around family. So as far as the Ace of Cups goes, Ace is generally about starting something new. But in this particular case, and because it's coupled with the two characters here, I feel this is a change of feelings. So there's some kind of emotional upheaval, new feelings being substituted for old. So I feel that it's a positive change. I don't feel it's a negative change. I feel that you are changing your perspective about this relationship, and you're actually able to go forward in a positive way. So just adjusting the camera here a bit. Okay, so as far as I think the next cards I will read will be okay, so the next cards that I'll read will be individuality and communication. So I do feel that, as I said, I felt that your individuality needed to be expressed in the month of August, and certainly communication, whatever method, you're choosing to do that communication, whether it's writing or whether it's singing or art or whatever, whatever it is for you. But I feel it's a creative project nonetheless that you're involved with. Of course, the card of communication in itself is about you communicating your thoughts and your feelings, being authentic in the way that you express that, and not being afraid of judgment, that kind of thing. Because when you are being authentic, you're not really coming from a place of strong insecurity, because if it's something that you want to get out into the world and it's something that you strongly believe needs to be out there, you're not going to be questioning it so much as your belief in it is stronger than what anybody else could do to judge it and tear it down, because you feel it needs to be released. You feel you have something to say. So this is about, promoting that healthy thought process and putting the energy behind it so that you are actually standing in your power here. This is about you, again, encouraging you to express yourself, not be so withdrawn and disconnected from your world. For sure, you need to be creating something. You need to be communicating that. Again, writing, speaking, singing, dance, art, music, whatever it is, acting, poetry, journaling, anything like that. Wherever you find that you are dealing with your ideas and your feelings, and you find a voice for those things. So I also feel that you're raising your vibration here as well, because you're getting a lot of guidance through the month of August, and this is helping you to express your truth here. So as far as individuality, again, they really do go hand in hand here. It's about you embracing the things that you feel are true for you, your beliefs, and your making things congruent to your values, that kind of thing. You're taking maybe even that road less traveled, standing away from the crowd. You're not trying to force yourself in a loud, brash way here with individuality. I feel that you're inspired. You've got a lot of energy in this month. And again, I feel you need to rein it back and do something more with your physical body to get that energy out versus, celebrating your own uniqueness in too egotistic a way. It's not about you being in your ego. It's about you being authentic, saying, this is what's coming through for me. This is what I believe in. And this is coming in, through song or poetry or whatever it is. And I feel this truth needs to be spoken. Basically, it doesn't have to be something that's really overt. Although it can be. I mean, you might want to be communicating this on a you could even, I'm just going to say something random, like poetry on the internet or whatever it is for you, like putting something out there, even on YouTube, or something that relates to you expressing your effort and your belief in what you're doing. Okay, so the next cards after that are the Earth Magic cards. So there's three of those. It's generations. As I said, I felt that your ancestors were coming through here. You've got somebody that's looking out for you. You've got solitude. You've got perspective. So again, that was a lot of that coming through here. As I mentioned earlier, that you needed to shift your perspective. You're getting some insight, and I believe that you're still in that hermit mode, which is also relevant with this card here. But I still feel you need to pull out of the hermit mode and try to get back into life to a certain degree and re-inspire yourself so that you can continue to be inspired. So it's really, when you shift your perspective, I mean, you might think of things from a micro or a macro level, depending on what kind of thinker you are. So, I mean, if we're talking about looking at something on a macro level, the card sort of makes a reference with the Milky Way, that the distances that the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. So if you're thinking about the Milky Way and its vastness from Earth, and the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. When you think about things on that macro level, the macrocosmic level, it's more of a broad understanding of the world. So if you are that kind of thinker, shift your perspective to something more microcosmic, where it's a little more detail oriented, and vice versa. So if you're somebody who thinks on the micro level, try to look for a more expansive mindset here. So, but either way, you need to sort of give up or at least try to abandon that old, narrow-minded way of viewing things and either look at the bigger picture or look at the smaller details, depending on the type of thinker that you are, and not to allow yourself to be overwhelmed, because that leads to feeling a sense of victimization and helplessness. So again, you have something to contribute. Try to realize that your contribution will also be, there will be a ripple effect on a greater scale. So again, change your perspective of how you're viewing yourself and your world, and start to see yourself in it. The solitude card, again, was really about you feeling like you're on your own island here. I feel like you feel somehow that you're cut off from people or from things that made you feel connected maybe in the past. And it's just a reminder that, there's a lot of beauty and growth still inside there, and you really need to find ways to thrive again. So, if trees and animals can coexist with, brash fires and those kinds of environments, and the elements out there with, harsh snowfalls and storms and so forth, they still are able to find a way to grow despite those limitations. And I feel you need to nourish yourself in the same way. You can find soulful food or, peace in things like taking the extra time to slow down and enjoy something you've cooked. Make it special for yourself. Put it on a special plate. Do something for you that celebrates you. I just feel that you're not taking enough of that time to break away from rigid patterns. And again, with the generation card here with the ancestors, I do feel that you're getting some guidance here, whether it's grandparents or parents. It's someone that's coming down, in your bloodline that's genetically connected to you, that is assisting you here. So, you do have that spiritual connection, and it's a good time to take advantage of it by asking for assistance, and not in a general way. Don't just say, I need some help. Say, I need some help specifically with, this chapter or this this piece, this part of the painting that I can't quite, conceive of yet. how do I finish it up or whatever. Like be specific is all I'm saying here. So again, you're spiritually connected. You do have help. Be sure to ask for it while you've got that doorway open, because as I say, even though the energy doorways do continue to open back and forth throughout the year, they're just stronger at certain times than others, and that's when you need to take advantage of those moments. Okay, so following that, I will use the Voyager Tarot, which is by James Wanless, and it's these 3 cards here, and that's the deck there. So you've got 3 of crystals, 5 of crystals, and then you've also got Woman of Worlds. So I'll start with the first one, just because these ones are a little harder to hold. So with the 3 of crystals, it's really, it's almost really the equivalent. It's about creativity for sure, as you can see from the top there, but it's really for sure about, clarity as well, with a crystal. So it's important just to remember, as I said, I feel that a lot of strong energies coming through on the creative front, but I also felt that you needed to do something more physically, getting out some of that energy, not just creatively, just because I feel that it's if you're sitting too long doing whatever this project is, there's something about that limiting you on some level. It's like you want to burst in an explosive way, especially if you're getting a lot of insight. So take advantage of those moments and write down when you feel those aha moments or that enlightenment, but also do something physically to balance it out. Because again, there's a lot of male-female energy that's not being balanced there, and sometimes just taking off into nature helps you to clear your mind and slow things down so that you can find a way to see through and change your perspective. And again, that's what this card's about. So it is about that creative mental quality, trying to see through the crystal of the mind, using a different perspective basically. And again, once you do, you're able to see a broader viewpoint of the world. So creativity is also where you've got new ideas that are coming through here. You've also got a way to connect those ideas, gel things together. It's that natural stimulation of the external influences as well. So again, whether it's taken in from nature or from people or from the internet, I just feel that you're able to finally pull things together here with these new ideas. So there's also again the 5 of crystals. So with the 5 of crystals, that's about negativity. And as I mentioned, I felt that there was I feel harsh words coming through for August. But again, I feel that you need to just try to keep that in check, because the negativity I feel is really coming more from these bursts of energy that you're getting. And this is about, the mind has cutting properties as well, because it's dealing with crystals. So even though you've got a sharp mind here, it's a sharp mind that can also cut you down with your own thoughts, or it can cut other people down, and that's limiting. That is a defeatist, critical mindset. That is a time where, you're not able to, it actually can work to block you in lots of other areas as well. So whether it's coming through on that relationship front or however, but I mean, it is something that can create illusions. So again, just be wary of being too overly negative, because it really creates confusion, which is going to slow down, and it creates that narrow-mindedness, but it's going to slow down your ability to heal yourself and to find that balance that you need with that male-female yin-yang sort of energy, as I mentioned. So the positive side of the negativity is, that you can actually always stay in control of what you're saying to yourself by saying no to that inner critic. So whether it's you being harsh on yourself or judging another, it's about trying to find the balance here, because there's too much negativity coming through for the month of August. And it's also a card of being too judgmental, again, of yourself or of another. So Woman of Worlds, this card is really just a card. It's called the Preserver here. So this is somebody who can be a mother, doesn't have to be, but somebody who has maybe a creative again, or nurturing quality, or again, could be even representing just you in terms of somebody who enjoys home and that love and that security and that comfort and all of those things that go with support, shelter, food, clothing. It's kind of all encompassing here. So it's just about trying to preserve that status quo and keep yourself nourished and keep yourself happy, and, expressing yourself, with, again, creative, with your body as well as with creative pursuits. But it is a time of fertility, and that can also symbolize really strong physical health. So it's a good time for you to do something with that. When your body feels strong and healthy, it's important to maintain that. So that's just the general energies coming through with those. I also have the Gateway cards. So that was about flying free. Pretty straightforward on these ones. That's the Gateway cards. Those are Oracle cards by Denise Linn, Linn. So it's about cherishing yourself. I accept and love myself, and flying free. I unfurl my wings and fly. So as I mentioned earlier, just taking the time to really appreciate you in the month of August, as well as making sure to be true to yourself and, really get out there and expand, and for sure get rid of anything that is restricting you. So find a way to just get outside of your usual confinement or hermit mode, as I say, and as I said earlier, and just try to explore. Find ways just to dance or laugh or whatever, as the card expresses it. Just find the lighter side of you so that you can grow into and expand into clearing out some of the things that you've outgrown, because sometimes we hang on to the things that are just comfortable and in our mind, and they're no longer really useful in inspiring us. So just to, again, self-heal is what we're looking at there. Okay, so the next cards I will read will be the energy cards. So again, this one comes through with some emotional issues because it does speak to a relationship. So that is the energy cards there. And the first one that comes up is contract. And I felt that it could represent some kind of legal issue but I didn't see anything other than just emotional representations of a contract, or again, it could be related around other paperwork or your creative project, something along that line too. And again, I definitely felt that you needed to do more planning. But with the contract, it's partnership, it's legal commitments, it's anything that is where you're signing on that dotted line. There's some kind of committed connection here of some sort to a business deal or a union. It can also speak to selling of a home or a new job, or even a renewed commitment to marriage. But again, whatever it is, it's more than just a casual agreement. So there could be some legal action that's underway with this card. But I do feel that it can turn in your favor, or that there's some kind of positive out of it anyway. But there's also, in terms of if it's related to a new job, anything along that lines, and we'll know as we go through to the rest of the cards here in the financial read, that there may be, with this card, it still represents potential new opportunities, and just to be receptive of anything that's coming your way with that. So following that was the card of cornucopia. So cornucopia is still speaking to, a lot of things that are coming through for you in abundance, with wishes being fulfilled and that kind of thing. So again, if there was some kind of legal commitment or some kind of signing of a contract, or anything that's related to a contract, whether it's relationship oriented, partnership oriented in business or other, it's still coming through as a positive. There's an abundant harvest. It's a great blessing that's coming through for you, in terms of the universe is helping to synchronize things to bring this around for you. Again, it's job fulfillment as well. So, okay, so this card is really saying, I don't know that it's really any job change then necessarily, because the card does represent job fulfillment. But again, it could be romantic fulfillment. It's because it's more of a broader, all-encompassing card here. So it's, again, things paying off. I should just quickly mention, I mean, that there is a card in the here that also comes through that speaks to, you know, the universe bringing in a gift of some sort for you as well. So there might be some kind of maybe a financial surprise or some kind of a surprise of some sort that goes in your favor, that also speaks to that abundance coming through. Okay, so we've also got action, which is, sorry, the cards are sticking together here. Okay, so the action card is also speaking to you energizing your effort, and you've got a willingness to get to work. So again, I feel you've got lots of motivation, lots of strong energy coming through for whatever's going on for you for August. I feel that you're taking some really strong, aggressive movements toward it. You've got, and it's intentional movement, and you're directing it more specifically towards your goals here. So you're definitely on the right track. You've got a lot of determination to make this happen, and you're taking advantage of that in the month of August. So stay on that track because you are trusting your intuition and your results will be rewarded. And I mentioned earlier that there was some kind of heartbreak. So for sure, I feel that it's not something that's coming through in August as though it's a nice fresh situation here. I think this is something you've dealt with and it's just residual that's coming through. I feel that you've suffered some kind of broken heart or conflict. There's some kind of grief or loss that's coming through with this card. You know, some kind of a hurt from the past as well here anyway. But it's whatever this darkness is, there is some kind of deep healing that's going on for you, and I believe that's due to your shift of perspective. I feel that you might still be venting your feelings here a little bit because I feel that you're in this healing mode for the month of August, but I feel eventually you will be able to change your perspective and open up your heart so that you can actually heal this and have some compassion for yourself and for the other person, and through the difficulty of the whole situation. Not everybody's situation is just black and white, that it can be resolved overnight. Sometimes there's so many complicating factors that it really takes a keen eye to address incremental issues over time. Again, you can't heal everything in a month or two, especially if it was something that deeply hurt you. So anyway, but you are making some time now, making yourself a priority, and you're letting go of old wounds and experiences and things where your heart, you know, took a bit of a hit. So again, you are doing some healing, you're shifting your perspective, you are moving forward in the month of August. I don't feel like it's a full heal necessarily right off here, but you definitely have some positive growth. Okay, I'll get to the advice cards toward the end. I think just trying to figure out which cards I will get to. I actually have a new deck here as well, and this one is the spellcasting deck. So this one is actually oracle cards as well, and it's by Flavia Kate Peters and Barbara Meikle-John Free. And the artwork is by Lisbeth Cheever Gesseman. So these are the cards that are toward the back here. So that is inspiration and courage are the cards that I'm looking at here. I couldn't find my pointer. Okay, so inspiration and courage. Those are the cards for the spell casting. I'm just trying to look for, just because I don't want to bring those two forward, just so I can show you what the back of the cards look like. Here's just another, this isn't your card, this is just an example of the card, just so you can see what the back looks like of that deck as well. Okay, so the spellcasting oracle cards. The card of inspiration is just that. You just need to trust your inspiration. You've got divine light and guidance and ancestral connections going on here for the month of August. So it's a gateway. It's a gateway, allowing that doorway to open up so that you can be inspired. You're getting flashes of inspiration, creative ideas coming through, whether it's when you're sleeping, when you're walking through the woods, or out in nature, bike riding, whatever it is. But again, it's something it's a theme that's coming throughout the entire month of August, that you've got lots of creative ideas that need to be expressed. They are coming from, deep places within you right now. And you just need to clear your mind and allow that energy in. And again, with the courage card, you're just being asked to, as well, anything that was causing you causing you to be irrational in some way, or hot-headed, or just unwilling to see another perspective, it's causing you to become more negative, and again, that will block you. So I feel that you're finding your way through it, but I feel that you just need to be aware of mindful of your behavior again. Just be aware of the thoughts that you're creating, you're generating it. I know a lot of times people think that it's the situation that generates the thought. We have triggers. We all have triggers. And so for one person, driving in heavy traffic may not be a big deal, but for another person, it is aggravating, and they have just a destination to get to. So it's, again, it's perspective. It's how you choose to look at your own thoughts. So if you don't allow the thought to go off on a tangent that is a negative track, you have better chance of redirecting it into a place where you can use it to your advantage. So with, again, the courage card, this is really about you coming face to face with those negative thoughts and things that cause you fear, and that were exaggerated and unrealistic, sense an unrealistic sense of danger that caused you some kind of anxiety or restriction. So again, understanding your triggers and those intense emotions, you need to be aware of how to redirect them, and again, putting them into creative projects. That kind of thing is certainly a way to do that. And again, long walks, whatever it is for you. So the next cards these are actually new ones for me that I'm putting in here. And again, I'll do another unboxing of these cards and give you details on them as we go through. But these ones are really amazing, beautiful cards. I like the way they look. And this is the Mystical Healing Reading Cards, and it's by Inna, I-N-N-A, Segal. And again, they're the Mystical Healing Reading Cards. So this one here is about recognizing divine timing. So even though you're feeling really aggressive and got this strong motivation to get things happening for the month of August, you have to be aware that it happens in divine timing. It doesn't matter how much you push ahead, you're not going to get the result in the time frame that you want. It has to be progressive. There's still some things that you need to learn to be able to add to this project, or people that you need to meet to be able to move it ahead. So continue on with using your energy and these doorways, windows of inspiration to your advantage, but don't try to force a time frame at this point. You're just being asked to deepen your efforts and prepare, because I felt that there was a strong need for you to be better prepared with some of the smaller details. But just to be aware, things will happen in the exact time that it needs to be unfolding. So that can also speak to not just your creative project. I think for some, again, with some of the Geminis, this is speaking more specifically to that. But for others, I feel that it may be related to this, friendship or love relationship that you've had with someone, that your connection needs to take the time it needs to open up or to happen again. I feel that there is a shift around that relationship that is positive for you, but again, you might want to also consider the perspective of when the question comes up, what qualities do you need to have to be able to have what you want? Think of it in terms of, would you want to be listened to? Do you want someone to receive you in a particular way? If so, also show up for that other person in the same way. This is how you allow for things to be more open and receptive. And it's basically working on those qualities in yourself to manifest the way you want the situation to unfold. So it's setting things up, it's putting in the time and effort into yourself so that it also reflects in your projects or the people that you want to develop an appropriate response from. So again, it's sometimes just putting little exercises in front of yourself every day so that you can find a way to work on, more organization in your creative projects, or or devote more time to family. What does that look like? How would you want that to happen for yourself? How do you work on greater intimacy for you? And as well, how would that look as far as you putting out that same quality to someone else? And how does it look for them? Trying to just shift your perspective so you see it from a few different angles so that you're able to communicate and develop a healthier environment anyway. But anyway, in terms of working on a business here with recognizing divine timing is also a card that indicates that there's some reward coming through. There's an opportunity that's coming, and just again to take action every day to manifest that. Because when the doorway is open, there's spiritual energy there. It's not manifested into the physical reality until your action puts it into practice. Okay, so experiencing a rebirth here. So again, I did feel that you were on some path of healing with this card. This is also indicative of that. And so you're embarking on this time of transformation. So this might take the course of a few months to really bring this through, is my feeling. But there is some kind of opportunity for you in allowing yourself to expand and take this broader perspective to shift your path. So again, I feel that you're delving deeper into yourself right now. It's starting now more so than any other month, but I do feel it's going to go on for a few months here yet. But I also feel that there's something also in you taking this life review that it's going to be it's a slow path for you, but I feel that there's some kind of inner growth that's going to come through in some way that will change your life. And I'm not really quite sure what I mean by that yet, but I just feel that you're getting rid of some things. You're getting rid of some baggage, not speaking about people, getting rid of baggage in your head. I think you're being entirely honest with yourself now. You're starting to really realize that, your part in how things signaled in your surroundings, and you're able to develop some kind of self-acceptance and understand that there's a life plan here that's at work. And again, I feel that it's more than an aha moment. It's a slow process. And I don't think you're far enough along the way yet to see it just yet, but just know that you're on the right course. This is about tempering your criticism. And again, this could be your own inner critic, or it could be you being critical of others. But just remember, it's a mirror image oftentimes. When you are critical of others, you're really just trying to deflect it off of yourself, because it's difficult to take on too much pain. So it's easier to project it onto somebody else. So again, I feel because you're starting to shed some old ways and some old patterns here, this is part of what's coming through in that healing process, is because when you're critical, you harden yourself. And when you harden yourself, again, you also send out sharpness toward others and negativity and Again, it limits you in your surroundings when you don't allow for everyone to be comfortable within the environment. So again, too much harshness, too much critique, whether it's related to your self-esteem, which is maybe even causing some kind of depression over the long term, it's going to take its toll on your energy level. So this is a card of letting you know you need to learn to be flexible and think deeply about things before you just react, and know that you have, higher wisdom that you can rely on that'll help you to get through this. So encourage yourself, encourage yourself through the self-talk. So again, looking in the mirror maybe for some and saying, it's okay to have, harsh feelings about something. Just don't dwell there. So you want to be able to see something from many angles, and that includes your anger. Why do you feel angry? Start to ask yourself the questions to break it down so it loses its effectiveness, it loses its hold on you. When you can break it down and see it from different angles, see it more objectively, and see that there's a gentle part to childlike. It's about the child. You're trying to protect some kind of inner child here, but it's really about you practicing self-kindness is what you need to do with this card here. So again, just about being more compassionate to yourself and exploring your own growth so that you're able to move forward without a lot of downtime. And when I say downtime, I mean, for sure it's important to continue to grow and expand, and everybody's got their own time frame that it will take. But the more times that you are angry, the more times that you are sad, these are all, it's attention to the thoughts that you're keeping. So just be aware of those are consistent thoughts that you're having, and those are the areas where you're weak. So again, just be aware of the consistency of what emotions you're having and what thoughts you're having and what your triggers are. Okay, so the warrior card, this is about you being a spiritual warrior, and again, it's about you dealing with yourself, you getting out of your own way here. So again, it's all repeated cards. I should quickly mention, this is actually the Book of Rune cards, and this one is by Ralph Blum. So again, with the warrior card, you getting out of your own way, getting rid of the dead, extraneous thoughts that, really are blocking you, and be patient with yourself, but also reward yourself. So when you do feel that you've overcome a hurdle and you've done something great, reward yourself, be kind to yourself, and again, compassionate and gentle with the inner child. What would you tell a child? Speak to yourself in terms of that inner child that you need to have a talk with, just in other words, looking within and trying to get down to the foundations of you. So it's really about satisfying some of your deep needs and trying to provide resources from your adult self to your child self. So you're molding your own character here, and this is about you on a conquest. It's a lifelong purpose, and it's about you undergoing that passage with compassion as a warrior. So it's perseverance that's required here. You need courage, you need dedication, to be able to struggle with the self and resolve the fragmented parts of yourself. Because there is that disruption, and that disruption is you now starting to see in the month of August that you're breaking free from some of these difficult times that you might have been experiencing, as far as some things you can't control, and I feel that you tried to control them, but you're waking up from that. You're realizing that there's a certain element where you have to take your hands off the wheel and just realize that some things have to happen the way they have to happen. and it's not about you taking blame for something. If you've done everything you could with the resources that you had, that's really all you can expect. If you weren't fully equipped, then you now have a search for new tools to in the month of August and the inspiration to make those changes. You're understanding yourself better here is what I'm saying. So, and you're not only just understanding yourself on a level of self, you're understanding yourself on the level of work and relationships and your beliefs. You're not really in a position where you're at the mercy of external events and the environment affecting you in the way that it had. I feel that this is where you are finding your own inner strength, your own inner power, and you're actually able to guide yourself with it. And so because of that, you're able to sustain some of the damage that comes with, life's obstacles or challenges and those kinds of things, but you're not really, you're not blockaded in now. You're actually at a place where you realize it's necessary for your growth, and you're actually able to accept that disruption and grow from that. Okay, so next cards will be which ones I haven't read yet. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to get right into the financial aspect here. So this is actually moving into, I'll pull these forward here as well. So again, this is moving into the financial read now. So this is the Emperor. And the Emperor, of course, is someone who is in control. This doesn't have to be... I feel that you do have a lot of people in this reading for sure. So again, I mean, this could be you. It could be somebody else coming through in the reading as well. But I feel with the Emperor, this is really somebody that is quite in control, might even be overly controlling. Somebody who has an inner strength that they're a really accomplished, confident person. Somebody who's got a lot of self-discipline, somebody who's got a lot of self-control on the average. This is somebody who is could be an older man, it could even be somebody who is a father, but they have a really protective quality, a really logical, practical mind, strategic, at the far extreme, but somebody who's really committed and motivated. So this is some of the qualities that come through with this card. So as far as just getting something that is also speaking to, again, I mean, I feel that this is representing a person for some, but I feel for others, another group of Geminis, this is also, again, about you needing to get some sense of organization or structure in your life and do a little more planning. With your projects or with your life in general. But again, it's about, and it could also speak to tempering those emotions here as well for other Geminis. So tempering those emotions and finding that inner strength so that you don't get out of control here. Because this is really somebody who's not afraid of conflict, and because, the reading is really about tempering emotions, I do feel that you need to exercise some of that self-control here. So anyway, again, you or somebody else in the reading. And then following that, we also have somebody who is just shifting here. We also have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is really somebody who is quite inspirational. This is somebody who's pretty good as far as giving out advice. This is somebody who's quite talented. This is somebody who goes after what they want. Powerful leader. Somebody who's, again, very inspirational. Very wise person. Very positive, energetic. Somebody who's got a lot of potential here as well. But they are an authority figure coming through here. So this could be somebody that inspires you, or it could be you. But again, this is somebody who is mastering an art. This is somebody who is an independent person, a creative visionary. So this could be somebody that you're getting advice from. This could be somebody that is coming in to assist you on your project, but they don't stop at anything. They keep going until they actually have until they've been able to bring something to the forefront. This is also an entrepreneurial energy as well. So if you are thinking about going after a business, for sure, this card would speak to you saying, yes, you need to do that. Be in control of your situation. With the king and with the emperor, that's definitely about taking control of your life as well, for again, from another perspective. And with the Fool card, this is about just taking that leap of faith. So the Fool is somebody who's a little more naive, doesn't have a lot of information, still, pretty new to the game in whatever this project is, but definitely, ready to have some fun with it and eager to learn, whether it's a new project or whether it's a new job. But somebody who's just that eternal optimist, and they're enthusiastic, and they're just impulsive, and they just want to get out there. So it's a doorway that's opening here, and it's about trusting in the unknown. And again, it does come through as a very spiritual card. So it is somebody who is attracting innovative ideas and putting themselves out there. So I feel that's you. I feel that's what you're doing, is you've got some excitement. There's a new beginning here. There's courage. There's potential. And you're just still on that pathway here. We do have 3 cards that came through. Again, these are 2 clarifiers about you just, creating your own obstacles for yourself, self-sabotaging, too much negative thinking, and that kind of thing. But with a 9, you're still taking action here. So, but you're defensive about your project. But there's still a reason for you to be very optimistic with the Star card. So the Star card comes through as, for sure a very positive card. This is something about, this is about a success for sure. Can be just as well about being recognized, but it's an inspiration card. It's a card of realization of a dream. It's insightful. It's about seeing the light, highlights that you're really on the right path here. And this is also a card of letting you know you are not just on the right path, but it's going to be the successful path that you can trust in. And I don't see a coupled around the relationship, so I'm not going to say that it relates to the relationship aspect of it just yet, but it is a card of being optimistic, and for sure it is the divine coming through that's leading you through. It's an intuitive card, but it is also representing self-expression at its highest. So it is a card of renewal. It's a card of, just you're in touch with universal energy here, and they consider it the North Star card. So again, you are defensive, you are definitely, doing a little bit of self-sabotage with some negative thinking, something along that line, but you just need to change your perspective to be able to get past all of that. Again, you're just slowing yourself down by continuing that mode of thought. On to the Seven of Cups. Again, feeling that you've got a lot of anxiety, but I think there's a lot of anxiety and a sense of loss as far as the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is again, queens have internal power. They don't express it overtly as a king would, but a queen definitely is somebody who has a lot of inner power. And certainly if we're talking about a person, this could be somebody who is a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy that's coming through, but it can be you being very emotional or somebody else being very emotional. It's a very intuitive card. And again, with queens, they create the environment, but it can also represent feeling emotionally frozen. And I kind of feel that's actually more what's happening here, because it's surrounded by the anxiety card as well as a sense of loss here. So I feel that it is about just you being emotionally frozen, and especially too because the next card following that is the Hermit. So there's a sense of you pulling back and withdrawing. The Hermit card, as I said, I feel even though you are in this period of withdraw to find some sense of healing and inner getting rid of emotional baggage. All of that comes through with this card. But again, it is also a card of needing, there needs to be a sense of spiritual wisdom that's going to come through to you. And for sure, this is a card of you learning lessons. But there's something about plans are on hold. Something is on hold. Something is on hold toward the end of August. I'm not really sure what that is. And maybe it's because you're soul searching here. It's about needing to think long and hard about something before you commit to it. Following that, we've got, messages coming through with the knights. And the knight is, when you've got two knights in a reading, it usually represents that you're meeting up with old friends or reconnecting with someone from the past or something along that line. The Knight of Swords, it's for sure, it's action oriented, as I mentioned, but sorry, just going to pull that through here again. But I just feel with the Knight of Swords, you've got some clarity coming through as well in terms of creativity, because it is coupled with the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands in itself, for sure is about a successful venture, and it can be about, there's some apprehension around it still, again, because I felt you're so close to the Hermit card and some of the anxiety cards here. But it is also about there being more than one person involved here. So maybe with the two knights, and again, there's other cards that I felt spoke to third party for some. But again, I don't feel it's anything that you really have to quite worry about. This is something that's kind of brought up from the past, but I still feel you've got apprehension about something. So about whether this is representing a relationship or whether this is representing your creative project. But there's just something here that feels like you're saying, should I, shouldn't I? That kind of thing. I don't know that I feel that you have anything to worry about here, though, because, there's so many more positive cards following that. There's just a lot of reserve and hesitation and anxiety and feeling of overburden on some level. So again, you do have the Queen of Cups here also. So the Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is about starting something new. So as I mentioned, with the two knights, you're maybe bumping into people that you haven't seen in a while, and maybe you're working with people that you haven't seen in a while. But there is still something new that's coming through here with the Ace of Cups. So it's some kind of new energy. But again, Ace of Cups is all about forgiveness as well. So maybe something that was a burden here is also allowing for forgiveness, a universal blessing, that new job, new opportunity, new project, new awareness, something that's new, period. It's maybe a new desire for your project, or a feeling of a deeper connection that's reemerged. But it's a healing is what's happening with the Ace of Cups. It's a healing. It's an awakening. It's about you finding deeper meaning here after a time of feeling overwhelmed and burdened. As well with the Ace of Swords here coming through, you're definitely on the right path here with, a clear mind. Because the Ace of Swords is for sure mental energy, and it's opportunities that are still coming through, lots of communication, which is probably part of this healing here as well. You now have that ability to concentrate. You're cutting through the confusion. You got a lot more clarity and logic that's coming through. You're facing up to the challenges, new ideas, new beginnings, that kind of thing. It's you being eager to learn here with this card. It's triumph, it's success. So again, you're seeing the truth, I think, is really what's more so coming through. I think you're seeing the truth. There's a healing. You're getting rid of the baggage, and you're able to move forward here, because it is followed by the Ten of Pentacles, which is the ultimate happiness card, or one of, and certainly with the Two of Pentacles, I still feel, or sorry, the Four of Pentacles, I feel that you're still hanging on tightly to something that relates to that Ten of Pentacles. And I think that Ten of Pentacles is not that you've secured it, that you're feeling the happiness. I think that you're afraid to lose that familiar connection. It's a strong connection here to, to family and to what you consider living comfortably. There's a peace and a happiness that comes through, and a financial security that comes through, and you don't want to lose that. So you're just hanging on to it. And I think that is allowing you to feel secure and move ahead with that happy family life. Whatever, whether it's friends, family, people being close to you, but you're still financially okay. You're just hanging on to things. Even though there is going to be some healing here, I don't see any sudden changes or anything to your finances. There might be something new that's coming through here. Maybe it's an additional job that you're taking on, but there is something new, and there's for sure some sense of new education, new opportunity, new job, but it's not, I don't feel you're letting go of an old job just yet, not for the month of August anyway. Again, lots of relationship issues that are coming through here. Normally with the Six of Swords, this would be a card letting you know that you're moving away from difficulty, and it could still be for some, but I also feel it also comes through with another message that you are just to take a closer look at your relationships and how you can effectively, change it to move in your favor. And I mean that in the way of, as I mentioned earlier, you seeing how do you need to show up in the world to be able to effectively draw the kind of relationship that you want. It doesn't mean dumping everybody and just trying a whole bunch of people on for size. It's about, what do you value? What is important to you? How close are you to having that? And can you work with what you've got and show up differently in that relationship so that it can draw more positive energy, or move in a direction where you can both compromise. Something along that line anyway, because you still have a lot of cups that are showing up here. So again, if there is a third party or something from the past that's a residual there, there's still energy around the Four of Cups. You're not seeing the possibilities there yet, but I did draw a clarifier card from the Oracle deck of the Enchanted Map, and that one is by Colette Baron Reed. And, that one is regarding the relationship, and again, it came through as home. So for sure, you're hanging on to something that makes you feel like you belong and you're comfortable and you're strong there. So that peace, that security, that safety, that belonging is very important to you, and I don't know that you want to end it or eradicate it. I think shift in perspective is what's called for here, but it's also making changes on a personal level so that you can invite the experience that you want. It's not about looking at the other person saying, change for me. You have to change for you so that you can gain the life that you want to see. So again, it's about compromise as well. It's not all about one person doing all the changes, but at the same token, how much can you change first to see if that affects a change in someone else. So home is love, and love is all around you with this card. And again, it's about staying on the path and wherever that leads for you, but it's always about home being there for you. So again, this is where you are around like-minded people, people that accept you, and you feel comfortable coming home. Okay, so you've got the final cards for the month at the end of August coming through. And this really speaks to where the newness comes in. So I feel that, with the Wands energy, that's for sure a lot of activity. But with the Wands energy here, I feel you're starting there's new education with the Pentacles as well. I should throw that out there as well. But with the Ace of Wands, I mean, it is about new ventures, creative ideas, time to act. You know, you're acting on those new beginnings and that inspiration here. You know, it's a passion project is what's coming through here. And for sure, it's just a continuation of that, I think, from previous months. But there's still further growth. There's still further potential. There's still further energy. You're still working on it. It's still something that is in those beginning stages to a degree, because you do still just have the Page of Pentacles. But again, it will be a very successful venture if you just continue plodding along. I don't see any sudden, monies coming through for the month of August. I think everything, but I don't see anything really strongly going out either. But I did feel there was some kind of healing. I feel there's something that's going to come through that will kind of surprise you, but I'm just not sure what that is yet. But again, this is the diligent worker. This is somebody who just continues with that strong commitment to that new learning and turning, vision into reality. So again, you're still working on this passion project. There's still that window of opportunity. It's still there. You're still on that new course. But for others, I mean, it could represent that you are getting a new opportunity as in a new job at the end of the month, or taking on a second. It feels like more like somebody's taking on a second job with this combination. So anyway, that is the financial aspect of the reading. Again, no sudden changes. I do feel that there's a possibility. You're still working on your passion project, still working on some creative situation there, that whether it's, writing of a book, or whether it's music or something. But I did still feel there's something new that's being given to you at the end of the month, some little surprise. I'm just not sure what that surprise is yet. It could be an emotional surprise versus a tangible, physical, monetary surprise. But again, there's some kind of newness at the end of August that is possibly a second job or new opportunity of some sort that's being offered to you. So as far as your advice cards, the advice cards that come through here is the Three of Gabriel, and that is prosperity arising from wise planning, time to take the next step, optimistic plans that turn out as expected. And again, as I mentioned, I felt that you really needed to move on organizing your plan, like organizing yourself differently. I feel that there's something that's lax there, something that needs to be really just tightened up. So again, with the three, it's about long-term planning. The Three of Gabriel is a long-term planning card. So, you're still working on that, but your ships will come in. You've made some really good choices here, and it's still an excellent time to consider your next steps, and, and what's sort of the next business opportunity, or next level for your relationship, or whatever it is for you. So there's no need to worry about anything financially, because you're still on the right path here. The next card was as advice, is the Five of Raphael. And that one is about everything happens for a reason, release regret, and embrace the opportunities for happiness, and search for the silver lining. So, so whatever losses or healing that had to take place, I feel that you're coming to terms with things. You're starting to accept, it was part of what needed to happen for whatever reason. It's still something that you're not focusing on as a loss so much anymore, because this is, you still see that there's some hope in the situation. So things may not have turned out the way you wanted it to with this card, but you're embracing those changes, you're seeing a new direction, and you've got some happiness that's coming through with this. So nothing to worry about there. You're also showing some tenderness towards others with that card as well, and that you do have a change in your focus, and you're reaching out to loved ones to with that changed perspective. So the Eight of Michael, you can be free, make a courageous choice to change your situation. You're not seeing some things clearly. So again, maybe this is related to the earlier parts of the month, where you're starting out not really sure of yourself on what to heal or how you're going to heal, but it is letting you know that you're opening up your eyes to opportunities. You're looking past those fears. You're seeing some freedom. it might be the lack of confidence is coming through here as far as what you're not seeing clearly. You know, you need to commit to these changing circumstances. You need to make those plans to be able to move ahead. So again, it's, you know, lack of confidence in your own power is where you're not seeing things clearly, because that is the self-sabotage card that was coming through earlier here with the 8 up there. So again, you're self-sabotaging somewhere in the month, but again, so many surrounding positive cards, I don't really see it being a huge issue, but just to remember to continue to work on changing your perspective so that you actually can move forward and expand. So we've got the 4 of Michael. Again, that's insights that come from quiet meditation, the need for more sleep or time off, seek relief from stress. So this is about you stepping back and actually taking the time to, as I mentioned, just as a brief example, you know, take the time to celebrate you. So whether it's sitting down, making yourself a special meal, laying it out in a way that makes it fancy, or something for you that allows you to really enjoy it, or making a special dinner that you wouldn't normally eat, if you don't normally eat steak, then, getting yourself steak or whatever it is for you. Taking yourself out to a place that, allows you to feel reconnected in the world. Just again, I know things have been quite closed off for many of us, but I feel that you especially dealt with more of that cut off for a longer period of time. So step back, let things go, meditate, or whatever it takes for you, walking through nature, listening to music, whatever it takes for you to sort of reach those moments of epiphany. So again, really positive, hopeful cards, lots of healing that's coming through. I still feel it's just more along the start of it, though. I think there's going to be a residual of this going through the coming months. But 7 of Raphael. So again, time to make a decision. Be clear on what you want, take action, and a need for detoxification. I did feel that you were, again, there could have been, with the Devil card, there's some kind of overindulgence in some area, whether it's drinking or negative thinking, that kind of thing. But I did feel strongly something that you're ingesting is more the issue here. But with the 7 of Raphael, I feel that you really need to take hold of that and just trying to gain some control over the planning stages of things, where you want things to go, more about the smaller details here. And again, if you're procrastinating or you have unrealistic expectations, anything like that, or heavy confusion on something, step back for a minute and detoxify, meditate, whatever it takes. So anyway, in a nutshell, that is the month of August for you. And again, not anything too extreme or riveting. I feel it's really just you working on much of the same project, but you do have extra energy that's coming through for it. Certainly some healing that's taking place. I do feel, especially on the relationship front as well. And I definitely feel that you have some really, really strong deep healing that is starting here for the month of August. So it'll be interesting to see, how things evolve over the course of the remainder of the year, because I think you'll find you're going to be a whole new person by the outset of the year. Anyway, stay safe, and hope this gave you a little bit of clarity into August, Gemini. Be well.